Hey guys, welcome to Kipoernekes Corner. I'm logging in to EverQuest II right now, and on Kipoerneke. So let's see here. We are currently over by Daruk Granite Nose Dobson over here in Greater Fayard, working through some quests. Let's see what we've got over here. Daruk wants me to kill 8 Crashbone Footling. I need the Toxic Gland from Malgert, and I told Chrome I would bring him back some Barony. Now, the question is, what ought I to do first? Let's go ahead and Toxin Gland from Malgert. That sounds like it might be more spider stuff. Let's go have a look at that real fast. The beast known as Malgert, using the Ulalurum Oracle Stone, while at one of the Crashbone Moat's dead ends, should summon the Malgert to the power of the stone. This Toxin Gland is what Lawful needs for his plan. So, that and the Crashbones will go over there, and let's see. Should I go do that or the bears first? I don't actually recall where the bears are. So I guess I'll go do this other stuff first and then go on a little bear hunt. In fact, I will put bear on track just in case I run across them as I'm out and about. Alright, so off I go. I'm going to head toward the Brushbone Footman and hopefully toward Malgert the I don't know, is he a spider? I don't really recall what he is. It says a Toxin Gland. I don't know. Anyway, we'll go this way. And I'm gonna have to summon him now. I feel like there was something else. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm supposed to hold on. Let's see here. Look at this again in Malgert thing. Okay, I know what that is. Inside the ravines, inside the moon. And I need 8 of these footmen, so that should go pretty fast. Now, these quests are very, very gray to me, so if you're wondering why this is so easy to kill them, it's because this character is much higher level than these things are, so it's not any kind of a challenge to kill them. I don't want that Orc Smuggler requisition because it's a language thing. If you're learning the language, then you want those, but if you already know the language, there's really no reason to have them. They just take up inventory space, basically. Alright. So, we're going to go through this cave, and on the other side there's going to be some tents, and then there's going to be, what they're calling a moat. I suppose it is a moat. It goes around the keep, and we're going to climb down into it, and it says that at any end of it we can summon the Malgert using an item in the bags. Now you can also click it from the quest helper window over here. You just, so that normally works. Sometimes things will glitch, or at least they used to. It's been a while since I've seen it happen, but long ago, it used to be that sometimes that would glitch and it wouldn't work from the quest helper window, but it looks like it will. Alright, so we've made it over to Clan Crashbone. There they are, predictably, Crashbone. Folks hanging around. And there are places that you can climb into this moat, up and down. I'm just going to jump into it. And it's not like it's a long fall or anything. And let's see here. With Toxin Gland from Malgert, it says, one of the moat's dead ends. So, where have we a dead end? I also see that there's a quest right up here. And we do have room for one quest, so that's something to keep in mind. And if I see a ladder up, I'll go check that out. I do happen to, but first of all, we're over at the dead end. Let's try summoning the dude. Ah, the Malgard approaches, it says. Ah, here he comes. Oh, it's a slug. Malgard the slug. That also makes sense. It's interesting that the slugs are toxic, but there's like over in the peat bog, there's some that are they're toxic too. I think it's like a toxic. Can't remember what they actually call it on there, but some little slug guys. Anyway, now let's see if I can find that that quest that was blinking over here. So one of the good things about doing the old quests is that you get stuff you can transmute sometimes, and you need to, because it's the only way to get your transmuting up. If you weren't playing at that level, which this character was not, then you can either go do old quests, or you can mentor someone down of that level and get drops that way. Or you can buy stuff on the broker to transmute. So let's have your options. Vargorn the historian says, "Do not hit. Vargorn is a scholar, not a fighter. Vargorn even speak your language, though not as good as he speak Orc." I say, "I'm not going to hit you. I didn't think Orcs had scholars." He says, "Clan Creshbone far more advanced than other Orcs. We know powerful magic and have rich history that go back centuries. Many Creshbone Orcs, great writers, even in your language." I say, "What use is history to a people bent on conquest?" He says, "Remembering history, very important. Helps us not make same mistakes again. But sometimes being historian is hard work." I say, "What do you mean?" He says, "Clan Creshbone history very complex, not always easy to understand. Lately, Vargorn finds conflicting writings that not make sense to him." I say, "What kind of conflicts?" He says, Vargorn better not say too much out loud. Historian who had job before Vargorn went missing after he uncovered some lost papers written long ago. Vargorn not want to go missing too." I say, "What sort of papers?" He says, "Vargorn just have a few scraps. They found by a friend of mine, Norrath. He worked inside castle to keep it clean. Not safe for Vargorn to talk to Norrath to see if he find any more. Maybe you do it for me?" I say, "I will go talk to him." And then I get this quest. He says, "This good news. Be careful you not be welcome inside Creshbone Keep. Many orcs attack you, so bring friends. You find Gorath on the main floor along East Wing. He usually spend time cleaning storeroom." I say, "I'll go look for him. Also, I'm not terribly concerned about it because I am, again, much higher level than these guys and not to be being attacked by anyone in here or pretty remote. Well, unless it's part of the quest, obviously." Okay, now, let's look at his instructions here. The janitor in Creshbone Keep along the eastern wing of the castle's main floor. Alright. Eastern wing. We have another quest, but we can't get that one because I'm all out of room in the journal. But we can go over to Gorath over here. And I just clicked him on my map because that's going to make life a little bit easier. There are some good shinies in here too for collection purposes. I think that's kind of there's some like I want to say there's some blue shinies later on or redwoods. I don't remember. All right, so Janitor Gorath says, "Kill me if you wish. It matters not. My fate is sealed already." And I say, "I'm not here to kill you. Vargorn sent me to ask about some papers." He says, "Papers? You're trying to trick Gorath, trying to make him look like a traitor. You work for them." I say, "I don't work for anyone. I just came to ask about papers." He says, "Well, suppose you did fight the orcs to get here. Maybe Gorath trusts you. It's hard to know who to trust these days." And I say, "What do you mean?" He says, "Gorath cleaned the palace and start to find old writings. These writings say things that don't agree with what is said by Emperor. Norrath gave writings to old historian. Then he disappeared, and Vorgorn did the job. Vorgorn is friend, so I'm trying to be more careful this time. I say, what do the writings say? He says things like Emperor was not always leader. Strange things like that. Gorath not want to say too much out loud. I say, have you found more of these writings? He says Gorath found some pages, but may think there are more to be found. Guards watch Gorath, act like he up to something. Gorath give you his pages if you go look for more. I say, okay, I'll look for them. He says, good. Bet you find them hidden under things or scattered on ground under tables and such. You find a bunch of them and bring back to me, then maybe Gorath trust you more. I say, where should I search for them? He says, look on main floor of castle. That where Gorath found most of his so far. Good places to look would be guard towers, kitchen, temple, and armory. I say, I'll take a look. All right. So, guard towers, temple, and armory. You know what? We're going to come right over here. This is the temple. And here we have a shiny. And apparently I haven't been in Crushburn Keep yet because I just got exploration XP for going in here, which is nice. Now, I don't know where this is going to be, so we're going to just look around at everything until we find something theoretically. Perhaps in the bookcase, Ah, yes, looks like. Alright, so we got that. Now, off we go. Where shall we go next? That is not what's a guard tower down there, so just head straight down there. And I'm just going to kind of mouse over everything here. And here we have a bench that lights up, so that's probably it. It was indeed. How lovely. All right, now, over here, that's the armory. So we're going to come to that next. Here's a chest that lights up, so let's grab that. Okay, got it. Now, let's barracks. We don't need barracks. Mess hall. Kitchen is one of the places we need. Actually, also need that guard tower, but we're going to hit it on the way back. So we're going to go up to the kitchen, and then back down to that guard tower, and that should be everything. It's a lot easier when you're not aggro to everything, because too high level. If I was of their level, then I would have to be fighting my way along here, and it would take much, much longer than what it is currently. We're going to search behind the sacks here. Found a tattered page behind some sacks in the kitchen. All right. Now we're going to head back down to the west tower down here. And of course, gathering the shinies along the way. And under this weapon rag here, or behind it, I suppose, on several pages that look like they could relate to Orc history. Excellent. And then we're going to head back over to, it says we're supposed to go to Gorath now again. So we'll come back over here to him. All right, Janitor Gorath says, you find more pages for Gorath? I say yes. I found more pages scattered about the castle. Found some more. We get the history signet from this, which is this ring here. He says, you find lots of pages. You did good. So you have this ring Gargorn made for me. Norrath, put pages you find together with other pages he has. Then, later on, you take them to Gargorn. I say, can't I just take him the pages now? He says, Norrath's not quite ready to hand over important pages to you yet. Outsiders could be spies, since trick works like me. You have to prove you do what you say first. I say, I thought I did that, but what do you want me to do? He says there are other loyal orcs like Norrath who are not trusted by guards. You go talk to my friend Korbev, see if he trusts you. I say, I'll do it. Where can I find this friend of yours? He says Korbev made to clean in upstairs of castle, the often near Hall of Tactics, where many orcs and others train. You go there, find Korbev, prove you are a friend. Maybe Norrath give him pages. I say, I'll find him. All right, Korbev and Orc in the Hall of Tactics. So we're going to go back over here, and instead of going in any of the other areas, we're going to go upstairs. But first, we're going to get this shiny, because, you know, why not? Okay, so upstairs is through this door here, as I recall. And now we're in the upper guard post. So we are going to look here. We got a blinking book, which is going to be Korbev over here. And we're going to follow the yellow wisp of simpleness. Get over to him. And here's another shiny. Let's see how the bags are looking. I still have some room. All is well. And at some point, I may start scribing those to the collections. What's this? Probably a quest. Ah, piece of very old steel. Now, what's that all about? The steel looks old and rough. You brush it off and notice that it is inscribed with ancient writing. At first, it seems blurry, but within moments, your vision clears, and you're able to make out an inscription. Now, if I read that inscription, what's going to happen is I'm going to get a quest offered to me, and I don't have room, so I shall not do so now. Instead, I will come over here to Korbev the Shade. He says, this is my shameful duty, to clean up after the tactician as he trains recruits and consorts with the Terdal. What a shameful fate. I say, your friend Norrath sent me to speak to you. He says, Norrath sent you? You must not be a typical outsider hungry for blood. I say, not completely. Say, you speak common very well for an orc. He says, though I'm relegated to the role of janitor now, I was not always so. I used to serve at the right hand of the tactician himself, but I am under suspicion of treason, and have been made a servant like Norrath, subject to the ridicule of my former master. I say, what did you do to be under suspicion? He says, speaking with historian Vargorn caused me to question some of the Emperor's edicts. I was overheard and reported to the tactician. That was all it took to be humiliated like this. I say, what edicts do you mean? He says, the Emperor has distributed a book to his orc legions here in the Keep. It mixes inspiration with propaganda, but surely you know this, since you're a spy, sent to trap me. I say, I'm not a spy. He says, prove it. Fetch me a copy of the book from the Emperor's private chamber. It's in the south wing of this floor of the castle. If you manage to bring it to me, I'll know you can be trusted. I say I'll return the book. South wing, huh? Okay, so probably down here, I would think. In the Emperor's chambers, which I think was pretty explicit. So, plot thickness. Downgraded to janitor. Ah, someone's in here fighting. They're probably thinking I'm going to come and take what they're here for. And all I want is this book. I entered Devin's private chambers and retrieved a book called Edicts of something. Edicts of the Emperor. Alright, we're going to read it, but I'm not going to read it here because I don't want these folks to think that I'm waiting on anything. Ah, but shinies. I will grab those. Alright, come over here in the corner, out of the way. Read our book. It says Edicts of the Emperor, a collection of the decrees of His Most Royal Highness, the Supreme Ruler of all the Fadark and Eternal Lord of Crushbone Keep, by Emperor Devin. Long has it been our happy privilege to lead Clan Crushbone in our war against the lesser races of Fador. Our orcish legions bravely charge into the forefront of battle, overwhelming our enemies with brutality and might. As the gods ordained in ages past, the Teradal have overseen the expansion of our empire. Orcs serve as the arm that strikes our enemies down, bravely following our leadership and wisdom. As is written in the scrolls of the prophet, orcs were created to serve the Teradal Empire. There are heretics who arise within our range from time to time and challenge this sacred bond between Teradal and Orc. All faithful members of Clan Crushbone are required to report such insurgency at once, so that it may be swiftly dealt with. Our victory over the Light Elves is inevitable. Most of these accursed foes have been driven out of our forest, their homes left in ruins. They are a shadow of what they once were, due solely to our victories in battle. But as of late a new menace has arisen from the lowest corners of the Fadar, a weak race that calls itself the Fae. Because they have lent aid to the Light Elves in the rebuilding of Kelethin, the Fae are our enemies as well. It is therefore your duty to our throne to capture those Fae, as well as the dwarves, gnomes, and elves that have long lingered in these lands, for use as workers in our mines. They will deliver the raw materials necessary to carry out our campaign of conquest. No action against these Fae shall be considered too harsh or extreme. They shall be sent to the halls of truths, where they will tell us all we want to know about their kingdom. Then we will destroy their city and scatter their foothold on the forest. Remember your duty to the throne and the preservation of the Divinian Empire. As your liege, we will lead Clan Crushbone to even greater glory in the years ahead. Fador is ours, and always shall remain so. As ever, be vigilant against those who challenge us from within, or from without rather, or cause chaos from within. All loyal subjects of our throne will see glory in the days ahead. Those who oppose us will see only a bitter and everlasting defeat. All right. So there we have it. Now we go back to Gorbad, and he's way over here. It's kind of interesting that he had his propaganda book like beside him on the shelf over there. You would think you would have a bunch of those around, right? Like, isn't that the point? Maybe he just gives them to all his favorites. Even so, you'd think you'd be finding them around this place, right? So here's Korbev the Shamed. So the spy is back. Empty-handed, I presume. I say, as a matter of fact, I have the book right here. It even has a bit of Teradal blood on it. He says, well, I guess you must be telling the truth. No one enters the Emperor's private chambers and returns to tell the tale. Yeah, certainly couldn't work for the Emperor, for instance. Since you seem interested in our cause, I will ask two things of you. I say, go on. He says, first, read the book. See for yourself the great web of lies spun by the Emperor. Second, go speak to a friend of mine who is being held prisoner in the jails here. Send word of hope to him. I say, who is this friend? He says his name is Gelzeg, and he will be in a cell alone in the basement of the keep. Let him know that we're planning to liberate him. He will be distrustful, as I was, but tell him Korbev commands you to flank right. He'll know what it means. I say, very well, I'll do it. He says, thank you for helping Gelzad. I know this struggle is not your own, but know that I am willing to give my life to free my people from this oppression. I say, I'll remember. So, I need to find Gelzad, worked and imprisoned in a jail in the basement of the key. Now, let's see. There is... how do we get to the jail? I think it's over... I'm not sure. Is this it? No, that's the Dominion throne. Well, right there, I suppose. Didn't realize. Okay, well, off we go. I thought there were some stairs. In fact, there have to be some stairs going down since it's in the basement, right? Yeah. So I guess the stairs just are not shown on the map as stairs. Here's those folks again. I can't help but notice there's one named Naked in there. So yes, stairs indeed. And so, here we are. Getting very close now where we want to be. I think. But we have this shiny to pick up. Look there. I see what happened. It was showing the book, even though it wasn't on the proper level. And so, it wasn't as straightforward as it appeared. We did have to go down those initial stairs onto the main floor, which, makes sense. And then go down again. I seem to remember that... no, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's been a long while since I've been in Kipoerneke. We entered the Vault of the Dead there. And got Discovery XP for that one. Another shiny. Still have a little bit of room in the bags. And now we're in the jail. He says, leave this prisoner to rot in his cell. I say, Corvez says that he commands you to flank right. The traitor says, ha! Corvez must have wanted me to listen to if he shared that old joke from our training days. What would someone like you want to do with our internal affairs? I say it started when I chatted with a historian about some tattered pages. He says, and before you knew it, you were involved in Freshbone politics. Well, you make an interesting career at any rate. If your involvement proves useful to our cause, so be it. I say, what exactly is your cause? He says, we know that long ago our clan was ruled by an orc, Emperor Crush. A Teardal named Divin arrived, and over the years has usurped our throne from us through trickery and guile. Now, Freshbone Keep belongs as much to the Dark Elves as to the orcs. I say, how did he accomplish that? He says, as you have seen, average orcs are neither particularly smart nor long-lived. Though our scholars remember the truth, most orcs simply forgot their history. This allowed Divin to twist it and reshape it to his own image. I say, what scholars do you mean? He says, our greatest historian was Vergeth Jawcrush. He was a mighty orc leader who never forgot the truth about our clan's past. When Divin discovered the journal he kept, Jawcrush was locked away to rot in the darkest corner of our keep. His journal was ripped apart and presumed lost. I say, so those are the pages I found. He says, indeed, you've helped us collect them so that Varborn can put Jawcrush's journal back together again. It is our hope that allowing our brethren to read the truth will inspire Clan Crashbone to arise and take back our kingdom from usurper Divin. I say, sounds like quite a challenge. He says, it will be. I just hope I live to see the day that our throne is reclaimed. I say, Korbev says he has a plan for you to free you. He says, thank you for your assistance in this, outsider. Go back to Norrath and tell him that I will wait for them to act. I say, goodbye, Bell's Egg. Alright, now I've got to go speak to Janitor Norrath in the storeroom on the main floor of the castle. So, let us go back here and figure out where we're going. And I'm going to make it simple and just click the blinky book again. Just went through the Warden's Hall. If we were having to fight all these orcs along the way, it would take significantly long to get this quest line done. And there's that group again. You can tell it's the same group because, it has naked in it. Not just everyone has that name. Here's Janitor Korbev. Outsider back again? You do what Korbev asked of you? I say, I spoke to Korbev and learned of your history from Gelzeg. He says, Korbev was right to trust you. Very glad you proved yourself to Korbev. I say, so can I take those pages back to Vargorn now? He says, Norrath gave you pages now. Take them to Vargorn. You'd be able to make a new book that we give to orcs so they rise up against Divin. I say, take care, Norrath. And now we go back outside of Crushbone Keep. And we just click this guy, because he's near the door. And there's a whole new group coming in. Oh, no, it's the same group. They must not have had success in there, because I saw Naked there again. So either they're leaving, or they died and are regrouping. And here we have Vargorn the Historian once more. He says, Vargorn will assemble pages you brought me into a book. Very old pages, but Vargorn good at scribing books. Give Vargorn time to copy over the pages into new book. I say, I see. Are you done yet? He says, Vargorn not done yet. I say, are you done yet? He says, Vargorn not done yet. I say, are you done yet? We're going to continue this for a whole minute. There we go. I think that was 5 times. He says, Vargorn is done. Here is a copy of pages you brought me. Take book and show it to all who will read. Jawcrush was a great writer who spoke your language much better than Vargorn. I say, I'll read the book. He says, spread word of injustice done to my people. Show them Jawcrush book and help free Clan Crushbone. I say, well, I'm not so sure I want to help you. Alright, so we got the tome of Crushbone history, and we got a bracelet of true history as well. We'll accept those, and then see if I can transmute this bracelet. No such luck. It's much too high level for one thing. Actually, I wonder what level I can transmute up to. What if I try this? I don't have it. Okay. You need at least 45 transmuting skill to transmute the Crushbone Woven Bracers. You have 10 transmuting skill. So I'm just too low on the skill to be able to transmute any level 15 stuff that I have on here. What a shame. Okay. However, we did finish that quest. Need to return to Daruk, and I need to return to Blinik over here. I'm also supposed to get some bear meat from poor Grum. But for now, we're going to just head back to Daru and blend it. And actually, I'm going to stop in a minute and read a tome of true Crushbone history. But first, we'll get to the other side of this cave here. Let's stop on the way and talk to Blennet Balestro.
Did you get the gland?
Yes, I did.
Excellent. You just need to take it to Norrath now.
And I say, all right. But first, I'm going to pick which of these things I want. Now, if you don't wear them, you can put them on as like an appearance item. So this is what the hat looks like here. It's the ooze-treated cap. Then we've got the scaled helm. It looks like this. And then the other thing available visually is this bow. So here's the bow. In case you were interested in any of these items for appearance sake, that's what you'd be getting. All right, I'm going to just accept the bow and probably will transmute it whenever I'm able to accept this next quest.
And thanks for the help.
I say you're welcome. I need to speak with Tuathal about what must be done. So I'm going to continue on through this cave. And then I think when we get to the other side, I'm going to read that little book. All right, we're going to stop right here and go read this Tome of True Crushbone History. Journal of Preservation of Truth by Vergeth Jawcrush. For some reason, that name is so hard for me. A loyal son of Crushbone. I must write this quickly. It won't be long before I am branded a traitor and locked away, perhaps subjected to some worse fate. But I cannot remain silent while my beloved empire crumbles around me. There was a time when Clan Crushbone was pure. We could stand against any of the races that challenged our rightful rule of Fadeward. But little by little, we had been corrupted from within, and now that corruption threatens to destroy our way of life. What do I mean? I wonder if, by the time someone reads this, it will even matter. The damage could have already been done, and the glory of Clan Crushbone may only be limited. But I must try. The Pterodall came to us long ago and established a kind of alliance. It made sense, but we shared a common foe in Light Elves. Our mutual interests even resulted in them sending an ambassador to stay with us. That is how the usurper came to be here. Devin was ever near to Emperor Crush, whispering in our great leader's ear of plans and promises. The Emperor had proven his divine right to lead us through countless battles against our enemies. What had Devin ever proven? Nothing, except his ability to deceive. This snake lived in our presence for generations, standing beside many emperors. His venom was inflicted so gradually it went without notice. After a time, many believed that Devin was as important to us as our own emperor. Oh, mighty Ralos, how could you have been so blind? When the War of Fae reached its end, and Pterodall lost their grip on Felwith, Devin brought many of his kind to our keep. He said his mages would teach us their dark arts and necromancy and make us stronger. The promise of such power appealed to the Emperor. Thus, the corruption spread under the guise of fortune. Our keep was expanded and made stronger, though much of the castle would be taken up by the Pterodall. Even as we seemed to grow more powerful, we could not rid the lands of the accursed Light Elves. Devin used this unrest to his advantage. Working with the Prophet, who was hungry for power of his own, they devised a plan to take control. The prophet claims to have received a vision from Roloff Zek that told him our army would never know victory until we atoned for our losses in war. The prophet told Emperor Kresh that he must make a pilgrimage to a sacred shrine hidden in the Lopan Plains. Once a blood sacrifice was performed, Clan Creshbone would once again know Zek's favor and be victorious in battle. To appease his people, the Emperor agreed. No record exists of what happened next. Not long after the Emperor departed, Devin came before us and announced that our leader would be gone for some time. He showed us a document signed by Emperor Crush, naming Devin as his reagent. Some of our bravest warriors expressed doubts about the validity of Devin's leadership. They quickly disappeared, were silenced. Devin acted as if nothing was wrong, as bit by bit the Terradal assumed positions of greater authority within the keep. While my people are fierce in battle, we are sometimes too easily misled. Over the years, Devin gradually took more and more power, until he was ordained emperor without a bit of resistance. Most orcs came to believe that it was natural for a dark elf to lead us. My family kept the truth alive and passed it down, ensuring our past would not be forgotten. I write this, knowing my time will soon be at its end. Please, if you read these words, keep the memory of our empire alive and liberate us from the great deceiver, Devin. All right, so there we go, the true history. Okay, we're going to head over here to this guy and turn in with that in mind. I think I have the volume too low on the music because you know what? I'm going to go and maybe possibly fix that. Let's see. We're going to go into options and then sound. I feel like again we can go to advanced and we can turn up the volume a little bit. Do I just want it on the music? Maybe. I wonder if that's going to be too loud. Let's find out. Hopefully not. Here we have a couple of quests. Now, last I heard, the lore and legends that start here are still broken. I don't know if that's been fixed or not, but the drops apparently, if you get that quest, the drops still work, but the auto updates don't. I think. Let's talk to Daruk Granite Nose Dobson again.
Did you take him out?
I did.
Oh, excellent. Ready for the next sortie then?
I'm ready.
Based on the information on that map you gave to Athel, there's a training camp called Camp Rutok. That's not far from the exit to the valley. Now, I'm sure I don't need to tell you the importance of getting rid of this camp. But just in case I do, it's really important. If we could set back their training operation, we could force the orcs to play catch-up, and that buys us time.
Which orcs do I need to take out?
Aside from their trainers and sparrers, it is important that we take out the current training captain. Trainer Margok is currently in charge of Camp Rutok. Take him out!
All right. So we'll accept that quest.
This ought to make them question whether or not messing with Daruk is worth it.
I'll be back. And then let's look and see what kind of things we've got. All right, so this is just the shoulders that we're looking at here. So this is what the dwarf forged shoulder pads look like. And then this is what the oracle arm guards look at. I'll grab the dwarf forged shoulder pads. And most likely I'm going to just be transmuting them whenever I'm high enough to be able to do that. Now we're going to come over here and update with Twathel leads.
Have you done as Blinnick instructed?
I got the gland. Are you going to tell me the plan now?
That was the plan. The test came back just as we had suspected. The orcs have been poisoning the creatures of the Fadark for some time now, but in a very subtle way. The coerced saplings, what happened in Tunar's glade, what we've seen coming from the oracles of Crushbone, all are part of this plan. They wish to turn the forest against itself, but slowly. We are lucky we caught them in time, and you were a big part of this. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have stifled the Crushbone plan through your efforts, and now we're in a position to reverse their evil plan completely.
How so?
Now that we have the basic component in their poisons, the toxin of the Malgard, we can create a Taus seed. This cleansing ritual will spread from its source, Sapphire Pond, to Emerald Lake, down Emerald River, and to all of the Fadark. The orcs will be at ground zero. I would like you to carry out this final step.
I am willing.
I'm glad to hear that. Please return when you're done.
I will. Alright, so I need to drop to Walthel's Taus seed in Sapphire Pond. Sapphire Pond. We don't know where Sapphire Pond is, do we? Take the Taos seed to Sapphire Pond, southeast of Emerald Lake. You know where Emerald Lake is, I think. So southeast of there. Would that be over in this area, perhaps? Maybe. Let's head over there and find out. At the lower Emerald River right now and go up this little log here. Half log? I suppose you call it. It's not really a log. It's a portion of the log. Probably I ought to have gone on the other side because it's easier to run on that than it is on this, but that's okay. If you run alongside the on the other side, then you can cross there at the end of that that log that you saw to the left. Now, Sapphire Pond. I wonder if this is the area where it's at or not. If so, maybe it's this one. It doesn't make a lot of sense for it to be, but it does. Okay, cool. So let's drop in. Now I've got to return to Tuatha, but first we have here a shine in the water. Grab that. And then we can head back. Toward Tuatha is over here. I think this time I'm moving the easier route and not run along the edge there. Maybe. Cross over here. Hopefully the music isn't too loud at this point. I haven't noticed any bears on track as I've been moving on. I haven't really been paying as much attention as I should have to that, but I haven't seen it pop up. Of course, they may not actually be called bears on it's a name either. It could be some type of bear specifically, but we shall see. Bears to waffle meats.
Has it been done?
It has.
Oh, praise be to Tanar. You have done much for this land. We are all very much in your debt. Thank you. Thank you. Please accept all that we can give.
You're welcome. And now you can choose from many different items. I think they're all no trade, I believe. Just like most of the things that you get from quests over here. So we can just check out what they look like. First and foremost, we have the boots. These are muck treaders. They're something special right there. And then we have the cloak, or no, pants, sorry. That's next. Let's do those. These are the pants. Very, very fancy there. Those are water-resistant breeches. Now I've got the face elf leggings. Face elf leggings. Oak steel breastplate. Right there. Contrast is very low, so it's hard to see, but that's it nonetheless. Heavy oracle leggings. They go decent with those muck treaders or whatever they're called. Then we have the crushed bone chain cord, so we got a helmet up there. And there it is. In all its glory. Looks great on Kipoerneke. And high oracle wrist plates. So that's going to be down here. Not the hands. In fact, let's clear this and then put just those on. There we go. That way you can see them better. All right, so your braces. All right, so I don't have a lot of care. I guess I'll take the face oak leggings. These look fine. And odds are I'm going to transmute the media as soon as I get my skill up high enough anyway. Okay, so I actually only have 2 quests remaining at this time. One of them is to kill Crushbone guys, Crushbone trees, and Crushbone cars. But the other one is to kill bears. And I feel like maybe I need to go on a great bear hunt since I don't know where the bears are. I'm trying to rack my brain of where did we see bears in New York? Probably I should have noticed them, but unfortunately, I've never been very familiar with Greater Fedor or with Fedor in general because it's just not one of my favorite places. So, cannot remember where bears are. But I feel like we're gonna just head west here, and maybe we see some bears hanging out. Who knows? I don't think there's anything more specific than that in the instructions. I guess I can check. Yeah, nothing. Just go get some bear meat. That's pretty much what we've been told here. We do have a shiny. Trying to think if there were any bears maybe to the south over there. Not sure. So far, no bear sign hanging around. Got some of those faith flies though. I needed those for a quest, and I think the Fey Drakes are the ones I had needed yesterday, I believe. And was able to get some of those over, I think, to the east a good bit from here. Not exactly seeing bears. Might there be bears hanging up like this this route here? Who knows? Got some treants. It's a very non-specific thing too. It's like I told Grandma would bring him back some bear meat. How much bear meat is some bear meat? That's the question. Apparently he doesn't care what kind of bear it is. No preference. Any bear will be. Which is fair because whenever I want some chicken, I don't specify I want some Rhode Island red, I'm just like chicken. Got some skeletons over here. Looking plains? Nah, I don't want to go there. Later on with the open plains. Not quite yet. Bloody hay bone there. Been over most of the area underneath Kellethan now, looking for bears unsuccessfully. Could the bears be over closer to the quest together? Possibly. Let's jump off this ledge and try to get the surf ball up a little bit. Various kinds of snakes hanging around, but a bunch of faith flies, like a number of different dogs. Zero bears. Okay, let's check. I really don't think there's any bears over here. this is the little glade, and it's got toadstools and the guardians of the glade and fey flies, and I just don't think they're a good issue. When you're gathering the toadstool guys, citizens, this is where you come to do it. They'll be just sprinkled hither and yon around here, little shroom guys. Yeah, no bears though. I'll look at this shiny heart. Almost full of stuff in the old bags. There's no ability to transmute it either. Machine. My save file did go up when I made that jump earlier. It's up to 187 out of 235 now, which is okay. It's not great, but it's not too bad. I'll take it. Still no bears on track. Still haven't seen any. The guy who gave the quest was right here, to the right. And I'm pretty sure there's no bears like directly beside him. That would be hilarious. They would not. Do have the skeletons, and there's a little area over here off from explore. I really don't think there are any bears over here, but then again, I really don't know either, do I? No, it looks like just skeletons up here. Okay, so it's not here, not there. Where are the bears? Great search. I wonder if there are any bears near the nursery. The nursery is the area where you start. It's the low-level quests. So you go through this, this tunnel here. Or it's not exactly a tunnel, but it's pathway through the mountains. And then you'll get to the beginner area of Greater Fjord. And there are some different kinds of creatures over there, but I don't know. We'll see if there's bears or not. Little signpost here. We got the nursery this way and the Southland Spur outpost that way. Okay, Echo Canyon is where we're at the moment. At the Strumblers. That looks like a shiny. I'm wondering too if a bear from another area would update this one just as well. I say I killed a bear in Enchanted Labs, but that give me credit? It's non-specific request, so what if it would? That would save me running around this place like a fool. Plenty of mushrooms over here. I hear they're a bunch of fun guys. Oh man. White-tailed leaper, it says. I think I'm gonna have to pay a bank here in a little bit. It's very, very cool stuff. I have three more slots green. And this is the nursery. Okay, so what I've not found, any stretch of the imagination, are bears. Strange but true. So, I think, with that in mind, I'm going to grab this shiny, and then I'm going to call back to town because I'm going to need eventually to go and dump some of this stuff in the bank and arrange some things, probably throw some things in my house and things of that nature. So, I think I will go ahead and call out Taquinos and get that done. So, I will, I'll call it here for now. I'll probably be back later on and maybe we'll find some bears. Who knows? Meanwhile, hopefully you guys all have a good day. It was a pleasure streaming with you. And, if you're not following me yet, be sure to follow me and turn on notifications so that you can see next time I go live. Hopefully I'll see you all then. For now, have a good time.